Thank you, Lascan Corla. So welcome, first of all, the publication of this bill and welcome the debate over the coming weeks. Obviously, imprisonment must be one of the most detrimental events that could take place in anyone's life, and its effects are obviously can be long-lasting, not just for the period of time of imprisonment, and in some cases can lead people down to a path of no return. So, whilst it is very important that imprisonment is there as a deterrent, and very much need that sanction, I welcome the Minister's view that in this bill, through this bill, the minimum amount of people would be sent to prison for non-payment of fines. My research on this and other issues, and indeed comments from the Irish Penal Reform Trust, and accept many of the useful observations published by that body. One of the main points being that putting people in prison for non-payment of fines is a great strain on the system and also costs the taxpayer. Imprisonment should be seen as a last resort. It must be a resort, and especially for repeat offenders, but nonetheless a last resort. One of the innovations of this bill is the instalment option to allow people to pay by instalment over a period of 12 months. This will allow a much more manageable and equitable system, and should also result in greater numbers of people paying their fines. Indeed, I've had people in to me who have had fines of €250 who've looked for that opportunity to be able to pay by instalment. So I'm glad to see that this will be allowed into the future. Section 6, subsection 5 has a stipulation of an administration fee of up to 10% should be imposed, with the Minister to set the exact percentage, and that this will be an additional charge to be levied. I think this is reasonable because there will be administrative fee, and if there is to pay in instalments, whether it be in a post office, there would likely be a charge there in any event. And with the proceeds of some of this going to benefit communities and indeed charities. However, maybe the figure of 10% itself needs to be looked at. Perhaps a lower figure would be more reasonable, especially when you consider the fact that those who would wish to pay on instalments would be doing so by necessity, and by necessity means that they don't have the money to pay the lump sum on its own, rather than paying over instalments. I also welcome the community service orders and the attachment to earnings provision within this bill. The attachment to earnings is practiced by the Department of Social Protection in relation to overpayment of welfare payments, and also in cases of family law situation, in compliance to allow people to comply with maintenance orders. Section 15 has a stipulation which only permits attachment orders to be applied to persons, 1 in employment or 2 in receipt of private pensions. Now, whilst social welfare is a basic level of necessity, I think we need to look at that area if there are high levels of social welfare payments, for example, coming into an individual, that obviously that would may allow him the means to pay, he or her the means to pay something in an instalment. There's much where I believe community service orders have much potential. As I've already previously stated, very often the proceeds derived from fines ultimately finance the community through official programmes, services or schemes of local or central government, or in some instances charitable organisations. And if a person fails to pay a fine through instalments or otherwise, then their debt, if you like, could be paid through restorative community works, for which there is a good variety of options which all benefit communities. Other functions of the bill are worth mentioning as they demonstrate a number of positives. Firstly, the innovative use of IT by the court service in actually making the instalment payment option possible. And secondly, the provision for sharing of data between the Revenue, Department of Social Protection and the court service is vital in the interconnected society in which we live. Anecdotally, I am aware that up to relatively a few short years ago, overpayments were being caused in the Department of Social Protection because various schemes were on 2 different IT systems. Some of the overpayments occurred because of this IT oversight or because of genuine human error. Others, however, were the result of unscrupulous individuals who knew the system very well and knew how to defraud it, and more significantly, defraud their fellow citizens. And in summary, I welcome this bill as it aims to reduce the number of people who will be imprisoned for non-payment of fines by utilising better IT and introducing more manageable recovery systems. And I would reiterate my concerns regarding the administration fee for paying by instalments, and hope the Minister will be mindful of this in setting the percentage when the time comes. Thank you, Chairman.